Okay. Should be starting. We should be live. But let's see.
Okay. I'm sure they'll let us know.
Yes,
or they won't, and then we'll know.
We'll all find out in time. Whoa, it seems that it's live. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Noises indeed.
Whoa.
Hello.
Getting noises indeed.
my
Thank you guys
goodness.
all for joining us. We're gonna do our little intro in just a moment as soon as I hit post on all of the socials posts that I had previously typed up. So many fun things. That's the chat being active. Yeah, thank you guys for joining us. We are here with the first Q&A for Hunting Party, our third campaign.
Woohoo!
Ooh.
Everybody getting excited.
Let's go.
So for those of you who have not joined us for a Q&A before, we're going to be taking questions both from our email, rollwithdifficulty@gmail.com, and from the live chat here on YouTube about the new campaign or just whatever you want to ask about. Feel free to drop those questions in chat and we will try to get to as many as we can. But I'm going to, we're just broadly very excited that people have been enjoying the podcast so far. It's kind of a little disclaimer before we jump into it. Thank you guys for joining us for this new campaign. And I hope you guys have enjoyed our little experiment with the solo episodes. And I hope you all enjoy the party now that they're together. We've recorded ahead a bit in this particular campaign in a way that we sometimes schedule-wise can't pull off. So we know a lot about each other at this point. And it's been really fun to watch you guys find out alongside us. So, yeah. Without further ado, without further ado, we got one Kultrix. First question.
You guys are so dangerous.
Unsustainable.
Just an echolalia loop.
Here we go.
Yeah, unfortunately, Noir and I are best friends, and so it's just that it's easy to do bits.
I keep getting away with it.
We've got a first question here from the email from Stars and Gears on Discord. Hello, Hunting Party. Unfortunately, I cannot make the live Q&A due to a severe case of time zone-itis, but I promised the Discord to ask, given how many things have had or will have your character in their mouths this season, what do each of your characters taste like? Loving the new campaign so far and looking forward to finally getting to the beach episode when Garou is forced to take a bath. So, thank you for that question. What does everyone's character taste like?
First of all, why would you phrase the question like that? Okay, it's fine. It's okay. I have to resist my brain from going to very dirty places, but it's okay.
That's what the bath is for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think Katya tastes like cinnamon. I think it's like I think she tastes kind of like Fireball, but without the alcohol. It's probably just
so cinnamon.
So cinnamon, yeah.
So cinnamon. Oh, this is Fireball flavored. You mean cinnamon flavor?
Oh boy.
Anyone else?
Trystine tastes minty fresh. Chicken? No.
Chicken's pretty good. This
is a devastating question, actually.
With
you picked it to start with.
A little bit of calamari. Yeah.
Oh, it tastes like chicken, but it's a little rubbery.
Turf.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I feel like that was a gimme.
Yeah. Garou doesn't taste well at all. I don't know. It tastes like an ashtray, I guess, and dirt and bugs.
Wow.
Ew.
Not something not at all someone you want to eat.
And yet the Beastlands continue to try.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm doing my damned best.
To do what, Austin? To accomplish what?
Have you guys all get eaten by big monsters? What do you think we're all here for? Yeah, fair enough.
Fair enough. All right. Well, this next question, we're going to take one from chat, from nobody in particular. Everyone seems to have their own differing motivations this time around. What were each of your thought processes for figuring out why your characters were on the hunt? It's a bit of a character design question. How did you guys all approach figuring out why you would be joining our hunting party?
Should we just go down the line again?
Yeah, I can do it. So me starting?
Yeah, sure.
Well, I did this as sort of a service to Austin because we were all like we were all throwing around character ideas, and then Austin kind of put out there that like, oh well, there we don't have any characters so far that are like directly involved with the Beastlands. Like I think everyone has like the idea that they put out so far was that everyone is either like a transplant into the Beastlands in some shape or form, and then also like tangentially related to the Mind Flayer situation. So it was like, all right, I guess I'll just be the one character that is directly tied to the Beastlands and the Mind Flayer situation. And I was like, what's a good Venn diagram center of that? And I thought of Kireek.
Oh, I guess I'm next. I I did the exact opposite of doing a service to Austin, and I was like, "Here's my entire situation. It's up to you how I get to the Beastlands and why I stick around." Triss does have like in character reasons to be willing to fling herself into pretty much any adventure that comes her way. But I was definitely like, "Hey, I have these ideas, but I don't like." She's got all these reasons to have a grudge against the Mind Flayers and want to hunt them down, but like the specific going to the Beastlands thing, I was kind of assuming that like a Unicorn Knight was going to show up, because when this was initially pitched to us as a campaign, it was like, this is assembling the Avengers. You guys are already like, you're starting off at level 11. That's bonkers high for like, you know, how high people can get in a D&D game. So like you're already the stuff of legend basically. And then it's like, okay, so you get recruited to do this. And I was like, okay, yeah. So then they show up and they're like, we want you to come and help us hunt squid. And Austin was like, we're not going to do that. Something else is going to happen. And I was like, oh, okay, well, my bad. But yeah, no, it worked out good. I like where we're going with this somehow.
Yeah, a bit of a mixed bag. I can't 100% answer this question because I think it is a bit of a spoiler for a twist that will come later. But my character had nowhere else to go, and so there's a little bit of this that is, I knew I would buy into the hunt because I'm a player at this table and I want to participate in the game with the character that I've made, so that, you know, she's gonna go along with the bit. But for Katya, at least, I think the buy-in is less investment in any one particular set of morals or quarry, and more of a go with the flow kind of attitude that she is very dedicated to finishing anything that she starts. And so as long as that hook kicks it up, she's happy to kind of be along for the ride for now.
And I guess I'm up. For Garou, I knew it would have been an easy cop out to play like a ranger in the Beastlands, so I took it a different direction. Garou specifically has like old man energy, like he's basically retired himself to the Beastlands and is kind of protecting his own turf, even if his own turf doesn't like him, which is sort of his big motivation for being out on the hunt.
Yeah, very cool. Well, this next question from chat is from Julia Wagner to Austin. What made you decide to have them start at a higher level this time?
I was really sick of trying to come up with interesting fights for low-level characters after doing the Sigil adventure. I was like, yeah, low levels is mostly about fighting like goblins and then orcs and gnolls, and I want to get weirder with it, so they're going to have to be higher level. But I also thought it was just more appropriate for the idea, like that, like Red said, this was kind of the notion of like, you guys are the Avengers assembling, and that wasn't like you guys are being recruited so much as like you're all being drawn together by conspiring forces, right. But that it was that they were all somewhat important people somewhere, and that they'd all had their own adventures. And I kind of encouraged people to come up with like, what was the thing you did? You know, like you don't have to tell me, oh, I did Storm King's Thunder, but kind of like, did you do Storm King's Thunder? You know, like what is the badass thing you've done that means that to a lot of people you're probably famous, and to other people, most people, no one's heard of you, you know? Yeah, just wanted cool. Bigger challenges, and it fit with the idea of this campaign, the pitch.
Yeah, it gives a lot of flexibility in character creation to really, like, I mean, Wally's really the only one who multi-classed, but to kind of create some juiced up characters in a way that is, you know, we haven't gotten to do from jump in the last two campaigns. So it's very fun.
High level play. It is so fun. I have not yet stressed about like, oh no, what if we all go down in this fight? which is like, it's not to say it won't happen. I'm just saying, like, it's kind of reassuring to be like, oh man, there are far worse things that can happen than everyone gets KO'd.
Yeah. Well, another question from chat from Random. What was the thought process behind trying these solo sessions for this campaign? This was something Austin pitched to us, and we were all like, "Heck yeah, let's go! Please let me be in the spotlight for an entire 2.5 hours."
Yeah.
But yeah, Austin, what was your process behind that? Because you were really the one who brought the idea to the table.
Yeah, I wanted something different. When we were like, okay, campaign 3, what's it gonna be? Actually, maybe it was Wally first brought it up, but basically the notion of like, we don't want people to be like, man, remember when they did campaign 1 and that was the best it was, and then they just did a bunch of other stuff after that. So I was like, and not that this is necessarily going to do that I was going to necessarily put it above, but it was a big swing that I knew could help set it apart from the rest, could make it much more special. It's something I've always wanted to do ever since I watched Earth's Mightiest Heroes when I was, I don't know how old I was when that came out. I think I was in high school when that came out, so too old to be watching it, but I was obsessed with those individual solo episodes because I was a big fan of the like more minor characters. I liked seeing them get their due. So I wanted to do that, but D&D, and I'd heard similar things elsewhere about other people doing similar stuff, and how awesome solo adventures were. We'd done the Tales of Ba Sing Se episode, right? Tales of the Planescape, where the heroes are got to decide, well, what do you want to do? What is the mini quest you're going to do? And that was super awesome and fun to be able to like do those little spotlights and like, well, what do you guys want to do? And this was basically just the juiced up version of that. So those were all the myriad reasons.
Yeah. Exceedingly cool. Well, we've got another question from the email. Hello, all. I'm curious, with switching to the new version of D&D, is there anything that's been a challenge to adjust to with the new rules? So we're playing the 2024 edition of D&D as opposed to 5e, which was the last 2 campaigns. Has anyone noticed any challenges adjusting to the new rules? I can go first if no one's got anything.
Oh, go for it.
I just wanted to say, that I circumvented that by playing an entirely different class.
Yeah,
I did the exact same thing. I've never played a sorcerer before, so it's all new to me.
Yeah. I'd say like I have played a lot of full casters before, so the thing that's been the biggest challenge for me is just reminding myself to actually fully read every spell description, because some of them have gotten slightly tweaked or changed from 5e to 2024, which is not like such a big challenge that you can't do it, because generally spells will have largely the same effect as each other. The language has just gotten a little bit more specific or clear in some cases, but it is something to double check. That's probably been the biggest challenge, just as someone who has to manage a spell list now this campaign and is actually trying to earnestly prepare her spells. I swear, I promise I'm trying. I'm not doing a Danny again. Other than that, just there's little differences, I feel like, between the 2 editions. They're not substantively all that different for the actual flow of the game, but like there's no surprise rounds anymore. That was a pretty big combat change from things I'm used to setting up. So it's just kind of feeling it out, and I think we've mostly gotten through with minimal headaches.
Yeah. I will say for multi-classing, it was like I had the Barbarian Warlock multi-class already prepped in the like 2014 edition of the game, and I stumbled a little bit in in terms of like actually playing it out with the 2024 rules. The biggest change being just the number of invocations that Warlocks get in the 2024 versions, and I wanted to do Pact of the Talisman, which is not particularly part of the 2024 rules. So backwards compatibility and weird multi-class shenanigans have tweaked Garou's character sheet just a tiny bit, but for the most part it's not it's fine, it's okay.
Nice.
Austin, you're running.
I don't think there have been any growing pains. It's just a lot of like, oh, let me look this up, and then there's a lot of time that I'm sure Sophia then has to cut out, where I flip through the rule book and I go, fuck, it used to be here. Where's the ruling on it? And then I flip through, I go, oh, there it is. They did create a reference in the back of the back of the player's handbook, there's a reference for basically most of the rules, and frankly, things are back there. But most things are back there, and I should just remember to look there first instead of other places. But yeah, no surprise round, loving it, because I always thought the surprise round was busted and stupid and led to people playing in repetitive, kind of annoying ways, where it's like stealth is so good, we should just always take stealth as a proficiency. You should always cast Pass Without Trace, and then you should always just win every encounter before it's dramatic and cool. And I hated that, and now that's not a thing anymore. You just get advantage, which is cool, or they get disadvantage, which is also cool, and makes things run a little bit smoother.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we got another question from chat from Pavs to Wally. How is it like to play an evil aligned character? And to the others, how would you play an evil aligned character? So, Wally, you are our, I think, first evil aligned player character.
Yes, I am.
How's that feel?
Voss
to the rest of
felt
us,
kind of
how would you
evil.
do it?
Voss wasn't
Voss was-
evil.
Voss was chaotic.
I guess so.
Chaotic. Yeah, it was chaotic neutral.
Voss was just a rebel without a cause,
Yeah.
man.
I think I
fair enough,
slowly
fair.
heated up. Going from Finbar to Voss, and Everard was also like on the neutral end as well, and trying to take that dip and wanting to play an evil character at the table is difficult to do, and it requires a lot of trust and a lot of communication. And I am really glad that I have such an amazing table that will allow me to play such a very irritating and dramatic, loud, and evil character.
Garou's all bark and no bite. It's fine.
No,
We
he
gotta
bites too.
stop.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Every time we draw him cuter, he just gets meaner.
Stop that.
And so the cycle perpetuates. Yeah.
I think Wally, it's doing a great job of playing an evil PC. Obviously, like, I think when you're playing an evil character in general, the goal has to be you can cause friction within the party, but you can't cause friction with your fellow players necessarily. And we've all talked above table about like our various feelings on sessions and stuff. We chat afterwards, and so far it's been nothing but compliments to Wally at this point of how you've managed to play Garou. So it's very, very commendable. Speaking as the person who most often gets threatened with death by Garou.
Yeah.
That's completely fine. But yeah, I think if I was going to play an evil character, I'd kind of go for like the scheming vizier kind of way. Like I want to whisper terrible plots and plans into someone's ear and let them actually do the dirty work for me, and kind of just play the social game. I think that's my move for an evil character.
Yeah, I feel like kind of in that same vein. I kind of feel like the way that I would play an evil character would be a lot like how I played Virla when he was keeping secrets from everyone. Just kind of like making deals with unsavory folk to advance his own means. It's just that so happened that like his own means were good aligned, but yeah.
I think I would love to play like a real monologuer, I mean,
Yeah.
ostensibly that's kind of Tristine's whole deal already. Like, truly, it's like, personality does not determine alignment. You can have any alignment with any personality type. You can be really sweet and evil, and you can be an absolute bastard and technically on the side of the angels. But I think, like, I guess the appeal of playing an evil aligned character is that, you could build a character who is like entirely self-motivated, or like is aligned with an evil power that they believe in or something like that. But I think for the fun of it, I would go full supervillain, at least for my first evil character, just to break it in, get used. Because the thing is, like, I don't play evil characters because I don't like doing things that are mean. It makes me feel bad. But if I get past that, maybe I'd have a really good time with it.
Yeah.
Yes, I just want Austin. What about you? You're not our forever DM in relation to this question. How would you play evil PC?
Well, I'll give two quick answers, which is one, I kind of am right now in our home game with Wally. Tars Tugin is just a like brutal. He's Thrycreen from the Dark Sun world. And he's just kind of a brutal, a chaotic, the strongest, basically take what they want kind of guy who is basically kind of on everyone's side right now because the bad guy beat him once, and he's basically, and he didn't die, and he's basically like, well, I gotta finish it. Either I kill him or he kills me. Like that's the way that the story ends. How else do strong people go about in the world? But But beyond that, because that's kind of a very simple character to play, it's quite fun. But I think that I would really like to play a kind of Mr. Freeze-esque anti-villain. I don't know if you would technically consider him evil. I mean, his actions are. This gets to like what is alignment, right? Like his actions are certainly evil,
wife in a
but he's
while I'm playing.
Who could resist a good old?
Yes,
dead
if
wife
I could have
scenario?
if I could have a not quite dead wife, that'd be perfect. No,
Yes.
I would love to do the Mr. Freeze. Like, boy, I do not want to be doing these things, but I have to
These
for
must.
whatever the core belief of my character is.
Yeah. Very cool. We got another question from chat from G Grim to Red and Austin. How's the sloth bear doing? Does it have a name? Will we see it again?
Why
love
am I
the
in this
sloth
question?
bear
I don't know
from-
anything about it. I didn't even know
I was
sloth
gonna
bears
say
were
it's funny
real
you asked Red.
animals. Yeah.
That's I almost just says the sloth bear is fine. Someone else asked about the sloth bear. I'm glad people like the sloth bear. So we're playing a campaign in the Beastlands, and no one chose a druid or a ranger or a beast heart.
We all thought it would be
So
too easy.
I've been curious to see if they will adopt any animals. And just been kind of throwing stuff at them because I don't want them to just take the thing that I find cool and interesting. Now, sloth bear is what I find cool and interesting, right? But I was just kind of like throwing animals around to see if anyone is ever like, oh, like, should we keep this animal? And like, maybe they can like be like help us out. We can provide something for them. Maybe they, can be maybe they'll know something or something like that. Because they are fairly intelligent. So the bear is fine. The bear was not like some critical plot point or anything. Just kind of an interesting. I didn't just want to be like, okay, Tris, you wake up.
What
Now
next?
what? Yeah, what next? I wanted there to be like kind of like an interesting thing, and I thought, considering how badly Triss's day before had gone, starting with this kind of like curious, fumbling, awkward but cute encounter would be a nice little palate cleanser. Yeah, sloth bears are a
Sloth bears are real.
they're one of the 8 species of bear in the world. Bonus points for anyone who can name the other 7. And they're an Asian animal. Baloo the bear from the Jungle Book is a sloth bear. Although he
What?
doesn't really look anything like a sloth bear.
No, they made him more.
He
like
does
a-
not really look anything like a sloth bear. He has the right claws, but he's not really shaggy enough. Someone asked if the sloth bear has a name. The answer is no. I don't think even come up. I guess minor spoiler. I don't think this has even come up to this point. But if you ask any normal petitioner animal, like, "Hey, do you have a name?" They'll be like, "I am sloth bear." Even though there's definitely
I am
many
sloth
sloth
bear, son of
bears in
sloth
the
bear.
Beastlands, they'll just be like, "I am sloth bear." I don't. What do you mean name?
And I too am sloth bear.
Yes.
I too
Does
am
the
sloth
sky
bear.
need a name? Does the river need a name?
Hey.
So yeah,
The river's
that's
called
what's up with the. And I too. Yeah, so that's what's up with sloth bear.
Wow.
The river's called
I-
Oceanus. Then I guess I am.
River's
also
called this-
Ocean.
Oh damn! Fuck! Now I'm pissed that I can't use that in campaign as a reference because we made it as a silly joke outside.
Snipe.
Oh god! Fuck! Hold on, I gotta flip this desk over.
I'll be here all week.
It's interesting that none of us came in preloaded with weird little dudes because I think there's a bit in the back of my brain at least where I'm like, well, so far I'm 2 for 2 on characters who have acquired the weird little dude for the campaign, so I gotta like get on that. But Katya did not take Find Familiar as a spell. Like I don't have that on my spell list, so we'll see what Beastlands has
To
in
be
store.
fair, all of us to some extent are weird big dudes. So
In a way,
True.
we have a bird, we
Yes.
have a dragon. Garou's
Mhm, mhm.
some sort of animal.
Mhm,
So yeah.
mhm. Katya is here. Katya is present.
Katya.
Katya is available.
No one cares for Katya. Lodged itself
one-
indelibly in my
Red
brain.
loves saying no one cares.
I just
Before
look, the
this call, it came up multiple times.
Yeah, I can't help it. It's something like the specific like plaintive tone makes it just very cute. I can't help it.
No one cares for Katya. No one
one
likes Katya.
Katya is all alone with the saddest, smallest violin.
Oh,
Katya
that's
is the weird little
terrible.
dude for
Yeah.
everyone else.
Am I on the
Yeah.
bingo
Katya kind
board
of is
for
the weird
doing
little
somebody
dude.
else's character voice, even though I'm not supposed to? Because I should be.
Yeah. I accept my role as weird little dude. I will settle into this for the rest of the campaign.
Mhm.
But we've got more questions to get to. This one comes from Mascot the Red Inconvenience in chat. To all, how do you think these player characters would interact with your previous PCs?
Oh god.
Hmm. That's a good question. I mean, Yeah, Kiana's really easy to get along with because she kind of likes everybody. So I feel like her and Trystine would weirdly kind of vibe.
As opposed to Belay, who's just like all edges, no.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
So
of course.
Beleg is adopting the first unattended person he perceives as a kid, which is most people. So like that's easy, but like I think the thing is like Trystine has this very specific like weird like internal hierarchy of like if your power comes from within, that's cool and based actually. If your power comes from without, that's a little bit dicey. So I think with Kiana being like, oh yeah, I have this like thing bonded to my soul that gives me cool powers, Trystine would be like, ah, same hat, and then they just be vibing. But yeah.
I think I've said this. I forget where I said it, whether it was in a Patreon hangout or maybe even the stage thing we did before the premiere of episode 1. But I feel like Virla and Upteglor would individually like Kireek, but Virla and Upteglor would not like each other. So, if all three of them hung out, like they need Kireek as a buffer,
pointing in a circle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I think kind of similarly. I don't know that any of my 3 PCs would get along with each other all that well. I think Katya and Ingrid could probably get the farthest into polite conversation just because Danny will ice them out as soon as she gets even a little bit bored or annoyed. But Katya's really good at boring and annoying people, and Ingrid is going to be at most like a polite supervisor to both of them. So I don't think that the gal should be hanging out like that. I think that perhaps I have created the worst friend group of all time across these 3 characters.
Well, Garou hasn't answered yet, so...
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, the more I think about it, the more I realize that technically, like, Garou would get along fairly well with most of my other PCs. With Everard, the fact that Everard is dead, Garou wouldn't see have any reasons to have any beef with him, so they'd be rather polite with each other. And with Voss's, depends on when Voss meets Garou. If it's before Paraspora Crew, that's when Voss, turns fully evil. If it's after Paraspora Crew, Voss is just like, you know what, it is just fun to be on the battlefield, and we'll just, leave it at that, So in terms of our interactions, and then Finbar and Garou would be like, okay, let's agree to hunt each other down to the death. Like that's
Finbar would be down for that.
Yeah.
Okay. You can take the boy out of the Feywild, but
the chaos within.
So not like fast friends, but definitely have agreeable terms for like their interactions.
Nice.
Yes. We got another question. This one comes from the email. If you were to swap player characters for a session, who would each of you want to play the most, and who would you struggle with the most? And Austin, I will extend this to you. If you were to play a character for a session, and one of us was to jump into the DM's chair, who would you want to play the most, and who would you struggle with the most? So, for each of us, we're swapping. And I'll say it's campaign 3, I assume, just to put the question ground rules down.
With Kireek's character so badly because it's some MCDM bullshit, right? It's like it's not in D&D Beyond. You have to like pen and paper that shit.
You have to pen and paper it, yeah.
Yeah, that would be hard. And also every time you use the strain mechanic, it stresses me out in real life. So I think that would be very difficult. And I honestly, it feels cheap, but I think I would have the easiest time playing Katya because going from one spell list to another is not that complicated. And I don't know what the hell Garou's deal is. It's like, I know that it's like, okay, if you're raging, you can't use the Warlock stuff, but sometimes the Warlock stuff carries over. I can't keep it straight. Who knows?
Yeah, I was going to say that Garou would probably be the one that I would have the most difficulty playing, just because, like, even though there's the benefit of D&D Beyond helping things be organized, like, I feel like there's so much stuff that you have to keep into your head, like, even more so than the talent. Like, the talent, like, once you figure out like the stuff that you have to do, it actually just follows a very easy flow chart, basically, of like, oh, manifest a power. If greater than first order, roll manifestation die, and then you see what the outcomes of that are, and then you can add stuff on top of that. But we've done like several sessions now where we can see Garou in combat. I have no idea what Wally's doing.
Oh,
See?
it's oh my god. There's a strange synergy behind the character sheet and who Garou is as a character and sort of his decision making and the decision making that I make like once we roll initiative, in that the rage, while Garou is raging, there are the options available to him are literally make sure he gets hit a boatload of times and or deal as much damage as he can in melee. Meanwhile, when he's not raging, he has a lot of access to a boatload of utility, his ability to bamf around the battlefield and or provide some fun reactions. And as for the Warlock stuff that he can do that translates between the two halves, all of it is tied to his talisman. So his ability, he has Rebuke of the Talisman, Protection from the Talisman, and just the baseline talisman stuff that add to saving throws, ability checks, and the reaction to push things away from him. It's a weird Frankenstein. It's really not all that optimized, but it is fairly there are a lot of options that come up in a variety of situations, which I find fun and engaging.
Yeah. I do think I would have the one character that I would want to play the most is also the one that I would have the greatest difficulty with, because it's Kireek. Because not just that it's a third party class, which means it's learning a rule set that I'm unfamiliar with. I think I could handle that business. But the challenge of I like to make a little chit chat. I like to do bits, and to have to restrain myself to would a mind flayer do this bit is, I think, a challenge that I don't know I could surmount.
Yeah, the specific RP elements are also very impressive. So.
Yeah, really, really cool. And also, I think Noir and I have similar instincts in the let's go gambling direction of, God, I probably would nearly die just about every combat in that regard. But is an extremely cool character who I would love to take a crack at. So answer for both, probably Kireek.
Oh yeah, in terms of character sheet that I would play, it would be Trystine. Draconic sorcerers are like the class that I didn't realize how much fun I would like genuinely enjoy playing.
Right?
Yeah. So
and draconic sorcerers are tanks. It's like every combat Austin tries to take me down, and it has to happen.
Yeah, well, running up against a limitation of the format, which is you guys are high level, which means if you get to sleep all the time, you get to just kind of go nuclear. There are ways around it, but to answer the question, because it's a completely different thing. Who would I struggle with? Who do I want to play the most? I think that Garou definitely is the one that I would like struggle with the most, because I have done. I was basically like I was directly given a character sheet once that was half caster, half barbarian, and it was like, this is cool, do this. And then I played it and I was like, this is bad, and I don't know why you thought this would be good. I did not whatever. I got to portray the party, so that was fun, but that had nothing to do with the character sheet. And then who would I want to play the most? I mean, I'm kind of torn, because on the one hand, I'd love to play the talent just to give it a try, because I've never played a talent. But on the other hand, I'll shout out a little bit to Katya. I've played a wizard once, and the bookkeeping nearly killed me, so I stopped. Might as well reveal it now. The wizard I played was Ophelia, who just went by Leah at the time. That was my previous PC, who was in Wally's game where we went to the Beastlands, and that's where she became a unicorn knight. They visited the Grove.
Grad student as a backstory.
She's learning. She's not super. She's learning chronergy, which is small. Anyway, So I feel like I'm ready to be hurt again. Maybe I'm ready to be the wizard, because I basically never play the blaster. So that would be cool. And also the combination of having like, I just feel like I would always be casting divination spells. Be like, what we want to know something? Sure, why not? I'll ask a god. Who gives a fuck?
It's been pointed out that we, in a campaign where we knew we would probably be hunting things in the wilderness, don't really have someone who's good at like the nature stat necessarily, or at straight up just like tracking things mechanically. And to compensate for that, Katya's character, I mean, passable, but overwhelmingly to compensate for that, it's just that Katya is casting locate creature or doing a divination or something along those lines to help narrow down the range of our targets, and that is a very intentional part of the design of why I picked a divination wizard. It's like, this will be good for no shade against your tracking.
Yeah, no shade against your decent survival stat, but compare it to campaign 2, where you had multiple characters who had something like plus 12 to their
Uh-huh.
investigation
Mhm.
skill, something
Yeah.
critical. Like no one's rolling with a plus 12 survival here, you
No,
know.
definitely
Yeah.
not.
So it's far more limited.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've gotten a couple questions in chat about how old our characters are. I can't say because I don't know the answer. But if anyone else wants to say how old their character is, go for it.
Oh,
What if I was like secretly you're 65? Have you not been playing her that
That'd be
way?
hilarious.
Have you not been playing her as a 65-year-old?
Yeah.
She's super old. What? Everyone else saw that. Did you not?
Has Katya looked at herself in the mirror? Like, could she like make a judgment call of like, well, I could probably be
A vampire.
To answer in character, I don't know. Let's say 25, whatever. She's in her 20s.
because
probably.
I saw some people who were like, the way that Sophia like does Katya's voice makes me think that she's like a 40-year-old.
What?
No. I
But
already
Danny
played an old
didn't?
woman. That was last campaign. I'm
Danny was a heavy
playing much
smoker.
more in line.
It's true.
Danny was a heavy smoker. Also, she lives in the plane of fire for most of her life, which I imagine
Yeah.
is also not great for the lungs
Skin
necessarily.
damage from
Yeah.
all that sun.
Yeah, but that's Katya. I don't know how old everyone else is. I really actually, I mean, Triss, I don't know because you're an elf.
Yeah, Triss is an elf, so
Tough
there
to
is
tell,
no
yes.
numerical answer that will make sense.
That's
Got
your answer.
Glad we sorted that then. Okay,
Yeah.
other people.
All right.
Garu's fairly old. He's been in the Beastlands for like 20-ish years. He left the material plane when he was fairly young. So he's approaching 40. So he is, which is fairly old for a bugbear, I think. I don't know how that translates to, human lifespan, but he's definitely
Goblinoids tend to be shorter lived, but I think they've ironed that out in the recent
Yeah.
edition and just been like,
they've
yeah,
homogenized
you
it,
know,
which-
other than dwarves and elves, everyone just kind of lives the same length as a human.
yeah, which is boring,
Humbug.
but yeah, no, I'd like to think Garou is definitely, he has old man vibes, and he's definitely past his his 20s, so anywhere like late 30s, early 40s kind of vibe.
Nice.
Yeah.
Kireek was abducted around the age that he reached the age of maturity for a Kenku, and then I kind of imagine, we haven't really hashed this out, Austin, but I kind of imagine that he was the Scythe and the Subjugate for like a couple of years.
Yeah, I think
Before.
that sounds reasonable. I don't know that it was super obvious to you in there because time does not necessarily move as smoothly for you inside of suspended animation. I mean, not to put too fine a point on it, you're the Winter Soldier, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
you've been Winter Soldiered, so I'm sure that you have an idea. And you're like, yeah, that was years, and it's not like your body was necessarily like completely suspended. Like, you've been ageless for 30 years, but
Right,
definitely
right.
a case of like, yeah, it's was it 2? Was it 5? A little on the fuzzy side there.
Well, yeah. So Kireek doesn't know, but I would probably know. I would probably place Kireek at like 14.
Whoa! Oh no,
Ooh.
Yeah, the age of maturity for a Kenku is like 12.
he's baby, Your Honor.
Oh man. Well, this next question comes from the chat from Adam Jordan to Austin. Any good monsters that you want to put in the campaign, but probably can't because of lore, difficulty, or other reasons? This is a softball question for Austin to talk about monsters that he likes that he would like us to fight, but maybe can't justify just yet.
Maybe can't justify.
Are there any monsters that... Let me go to my favorite little book over here. I'm sure I don't want to take up too much time with this because I'm sure I spent a lot of time doing it.
I mean, we recently fought a really fun
this
one.
yes, we did fight one that I've been looking forward to
Shut
throwing
your
at them
mouth.
for a long time.
We can't say that.
We can't say.
Yeah, no, we
Secret
can't.
secrets.
It's not the finale, but it's pretty far. There are a lot of cool so I'm talking about Flea Mortals, of course, not sponsored. You're just trying to get them to. There are a lot of cool like elementals, and in fact, when we did our danger room scenario,
Yeah.
how many tentacles are too many? This is not enough. We did our danger room scenario. I threw a bunch of elementals at them because I was like, I like the elementals. They're very cool in this book. They're not just rock person, water thing, fire thing. They're a little bit more complicated than that. A lot of them take on like kind of animal-esque forms.
That's cool.
But I was like, I don't think they're really gonna have a place here just based on like the vibe we're going for. I already have, I kind of set the tone as the theme is aberrations and beasts. And I think elementals it'd be like Fae. It's like it's a little too close. It's neither distinct nor is it on theme, which makes it. And maybe I could reskin something, but I think that's a big loss. But you guys have seen one of the ones I really want to throw, which is the Kingfisher worm. That was Grofgander. Was the Kingfisher worm, which is basically a purple worm analog. So I was super happy.
I initially assumed we were dealing with some like Shai Hulud bullshit. It didn't occur to me that it was actually a big snake until we saw the thing later. It's like, oh, my bad.
Yeah, I definitely tossed around that it was a worm for a while, and then I think I just went with snake because I like Jormungandr.
Of course.
In fact, I have the Drawn by Red Jormungandr shirt that I bought like 8 years ago, and it's really worn through at this point.
Yep,
but
red bubble print quality, baby.
Yep. Oh, and the last one. You guys are too high level to fight it. Probably. Maybe I could find some way. But the Shield Scale Drangolin, which is a giant pangolin that is flaming on the inside.
Oh yeah.
Excuse me, flaming on the inside.
Yes.
Huh.
Yeah, that goes hard. It's CR2, so I don't know. I could beef it up if I wanted to.
We could adopt one as a weird,
which would kind of be a pain.
That would be very.
You could adopt. There is a stat block for the companion version, which would be the thing that you adventure with. So I don't know. Maybe it'll make an appearance. Maybe I've called my shot there. But it is as it stands too low CR to really mean anything.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love pangolins. Yes.
Pangolins are very, very good. Well, we got more questions to get to. This one to Red or Austin from the chat. What's Tristine's family tree situation? She lives with her grandmother. There's baby eggs. What about her parents? So, what's up with Tristine's family tree?
Just mostly drow.
It's mostly drow. It's
just that there's a dragon way back.
Yeah, exactly. I keep saying like there's a lot of extra greats in that grandmother, but grandmother is for short. The thing is like Dragonborn sorcerer is like, hey, somewhere in your family tree there was a dragon. And so for the backstory, I was like, Austin, can I have been rescued / kidnapped by my dragon ancestor and then been raised by a dragon? And Austin was like, yes. So Trystine very, very faintly remembers the Drow family situation, but like she's straight out of Menzoberranzan, so like it wasn't good. But in
fact, in your backstory, there's been
shenanigans.
I just kind of hinted at in your episode there was some shenanigans that went down with the Underdark and the Drow.
There's a reason I collapsed the nearby entrance to the Underdark. But like, because the thing is, like, family in Menzoberranzan, a girl child, anyone who's read any Drizzt novels, it's a matriarchy. A powerful sorcerer daughter is like a good bargain, like a good like status symbol to have, and then grandmother comes in and is like, nope, this one's mine. She's got my powers, she's got my eyes, so she comes to live with me. And there's a vested interest in the family to come and get her back, and Trystine does not want to do that. So there was anyway. So like I was left unsupervised for months. Okay, I had backstory time to fill out. I didn't want to like write stuff that was going to be significant to the campaign. But Triss is an experienced adventurer. She's been at this for a while. There's been drama. But yeah.
Yeah, it's not a crazy like she's important. She's not secretly the heir to Menzoberranzan.
No,
she's important because she is powerful and a sorceress and related to a dragon and comes from an evil city. So
yes,
she's really Snaescala is her grandmother or
Snaescala is her like great
grandmother. Yeah.
Snaescala had like crazy shenanigans in her youth, and there's just a bloodline of Drow who are descended from her, and it maybe contributed to like slightly more magic ability, and then like the genes hit really hard in this one, and she's already casting spells at a very young age, and therefore grandmother's like, oh cool, one of mine, yoink. But yeah.
I don't know that we have a canonical house, Pops. I'm not sure that Triss would know it. Although there probably is one, and should that, I mean, spoilers. That's not going to come up for the rest of season 1, right?
Certainly
if that comes
not.
up at all, it's not the plot of campaign 1, her secret family backstory. So here's a piece of GMing advice. Do the work you need to when you need to do it. No reason to drown yourself in trying to solve all problems simultaneously when you don't need to put out every fire right away.
Yeah.
And it's also it's
Thank
not
you.
relevant to Triss, so she would not care to know. She might have found out at some point and then just like filed that away because it's irrelevant as far as she's concerned. So
Yeah, and as we all know, Triss is not interested in the proper nouns of really anything other than her
Yep.
grandmother's last
I have to
name,
focus
so-
on mastering the arcane torrents that lie within. I cannot be bothered with names that I can just look up on a map when I need them.
If only we had a map of insert where Triss is from. Here. But yeah, we got another question. This one from the email. Awesome start to the new campaign. In the last episode, Katya seemed to have more reasons to leave the party than to stay with them, but ultimately decided to remain. From a meta perspective, obviously everyone has to stay together to play the game. What are some creative narrative solutions you've contrived to keep your character or a party member in the group? Great work as always. Keep going. Thank you, PR Stevens. I think this is something that I would like to commend about everyone else here, but like obviously we ran up into the Katya is like, well, why would I join this group of people who seem to want me dead more than alive? Problem in episode 5, and I really appreciated that we were able to go above table and kind of just work that out very quickly and like just address the concern, because overwhelmingly like the best way to avoid this scenario is to keep in mind that you are players in a game who should make a character that wants to be with the group for some reson. And I've definitely early on in my TTRPG career fallen the whole of, oh no, I've created a character that wouldn't want to play with this group. So why did I bring it to this particular party to play this particular game? So overwhelmingly, the best way you can avoid this is by just as a player saying, I've made this character, and this character wants to be in this campaign for this reason. And I thought I had that for Katya, but obviously that did not come up. So I think like, I don't know, I have a good example of a creative narrative solution to contrive to keep a character in the game, because those kind of tend to come from your particular game situation. Someone like leaves the table. I left the table to study abroad in Noir's home game, for example. And so it's like, all right, that character is off on a different adventure, and then she'll pop back up later. But it's always good when you can just talk openly as the players and not the characters, and like take 5 for a moment to be like, okay, something's not clicking. How can we, as a party and as a table, address that? And I really appreciate that everyone took 5 with me on that, because that was a moment where I'm like, I'm struggling with this a little bit, and it's great that I can lean on all my other players at the table here for this to happen.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really interesting question. I will say that like I also ran into later on the slight problem of like, well, I have a reason to be traveling with these guys for now, but like there's all these factors in Tristine's motivation in this season where I was like, after a certain point, like it is possible for her to reach a breaking point and want to split off on her own, because everyone else she will start to think is slowing her down. And like little factors like, oh, she trances, she's done with a long rest twice as fast as everyone else, and then she has to wait for them. And like even before this, she was doing everything solo. So I was like, if I can potentially finagle this, but I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to be able to justify her continuing to be okay with this. And Austin was like, not to worry, I will force you to participate and make the character wanted. Which is good. Like that's a good thing. And obviously, like bringing the egg into the mix is huge, because it's like, well, that's a reason for Trystine to want to stay. But then it's like, well, yeah, but it's also a much more personal motivation for her than anyone else, which feeds into the like, maybe she'll just be like, all right, fuck it, I can do this myself, and run off on her own and get into trouble. But I didn't want to do that without like at least running it by the DM first. And I'm not going to spoil anything, but I no longer am worried about that happening, at least not in the current status quo. And I guess it's just that like, I don't really have a creative solution, because I try not to make too many narrative decisions in advance when I'm trying to plot out a character arc, because the way I generally look at a table like this is like, you bring your character and all the myriad directions that character can develop in, and then you sort of trust that the table and the DM are going to shape that, and the dice are going to shape that character in ways that you couldn't necessarily predict, which is the fun of improv storytelling, is that it's not just you telling the story. So I try not to be like, seeing all the angles, like, okay, if this happens, I'll use this to continue to stay invested. It's just, you can kind of trust that like everyone else also wants you to continue to be in the party, and reasons can be come up with by either you guys together or the DM who is shaping the story, which is what happened in this case. So,
yeah.
One of the things that I do in character creation is that I'm like, okay, great, my character is really good at doing X, Y, and Z. What can't my character do? And the things my characters cannot do is what the character will rely on the rest of the party to help them out with. So sort of that you're not just creating like a character who's, although we're like level 11, who's strong, relatively self-sufficient. The conflict that will be presented to you will ultimately always be greater than one person. So specifically for Garou, he knows that he is he doesn't shy away from his villainy, his murderous actions, but being able to call him out on that, asking him to pull back from that, because at the end of the day, he wants to eliminate, the aberrations from the Beastlands, and that's not a thing he could realistically do by himself. So he's rather disgruntledly allied himself with everyone else, because he's like, hey, this can work somehow.
Kireek is basically the same motivations as both Trystine and Garou. It's personal for Kireek, but he also wants to protect these lands. But unlike Garou, he's very much on board with the idea of teaming up for Unicorn Knights. So, yeah.
Yeah, there's an art to making a character who wants to be in the party, but at the same time, when you are building a character for improv storytelling, you accept the fact that things will happen that you couldn't plan for, and you kind of have to roll with the punches. And after a certain point, you can shape your decision to move in a certain direction, but it's hard to concretely plan for something in advance without risking warping the character out of shape in the process. This is like the problem of like, oh, I designed this character and this character is cool, and then you roll badly one time and you're like, I can't reconcile this with my character being cool. So it's dangerous to have a narrative in mind when you introduce a character into a story. Like having a character in mind, yeah, but like having a way you want that character to go, you can't make that plan so much.
Oh my god, even there is, only episode 5 is out, but there is a moment later on in the season.
We were just talking about that before the stream too. I was like, God, I can't believe. Sorry, go on.
Where Garou fails a roll, and being able to reconcile that roll with the character is absolutely fantastic, and I like that kind of improvisation. The failures are just as important and just as engaging as the successes, and one of the reasons why I like D&D.
Yeah, I think all players might. Oh, sorry, go on, Sophia.
I was just gonna say, I'm on record as being like, I will always ask to take a dump stat if I don't roll one, because the failures are as much fun as the successes in this kind of improvised game and improvised storytelling. But I'm sorry, Austin, you were saying.
I think that all players, and this is myself included, maybe myself especially, could learn to be less precious with their characters, because I think we all have expectations for what's going to happen, and it becomes more interesting in hindsight when you just let things happen. I remember we were playing a very high-level big finale campaign at a home table. My character I'd been playing for like maybe 2 years at that point was like 17th level or something. And Wally's character, who had been a friend, turned bad guy, became a big bad of the campaign. We were fighting him, this big epic fight, and he was basically down to he was basically going to die. He was going to die. And I rolled to hit him with my sword, and I rolled like a 2, and then I did my second attack, and I rolled like a 3. And then I used my inspiration, and I think everyone else from the table gave me all their inspirations to reroll. I think I rolled 5 times. All I needed to hit was an 11, and I rolled under an 11 for every single one. And I literally got up and left, because I was like, this was the moment that Ernest was going to kill like this person who had like kind of meant something to him, had betrayed all of them, and he was gonna this was gonna be this end to his character thing. And I got up and left because I was like, I can't believe that this didn't happen. And then I came back later and I was like, no, you know what? Like the way that happened was he couldn't do it. Ernest thought the same thing I thought, which was that he had to kill this dude because that was the way the story was gonna go, and he couldn't do it. It was still this guy he cared about, even though he was evil, and that was. If I just kind of, let go of control from the narrative, then I think I could have realized it in the moment, but I didn't realize it till, half an hour later when I kind of cooled down from the frustration of just rolling shit 5 times in a row.
I had a really minor moment in an episode that hasn't come out yet, where I, the player, was so distracted by having nearly messed something up that it didn't occur to me until hours after we were done that I could have used it as a character moment, because it actually played really well with some stuff. And I was like, oh, damn it. I was so hung up on like getting a bad grade in D&D that I missed an opportunity. And like, I don't think it's like cataclysmic because it works as it is, but it's like, truly the concern about like no this isn't how it's supposed to go will like always sabotage your ability to yes and into something beautiful.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not called
let go.
rolling with difficulty for no reason. You know, it's the
we gotta roll with the punches, baby.
Ooh, roll credits. Bye, guys.
Okay, stream's over.
I'll be here all night.
Well, we are coming up on time for the stream, so we've only got time for I think 1 or 2 more questions, as it were. So that's an appropriate beginning of the end. We got one from the email here for Austin and Wally. What is the distinction between being a warlock of a god and a cleric? Garou is extremely irreverent and borderline hostile to Malar. So is the distinction being worshipful as opposed to viewing it more like a job employer and employee situation? So how do you guys think of the difference between making a warlock pact and being a cleric of something?
I will say that specifically for Garou, and this will come up later on within the season. His relationship with Malar is that of convenience. He's alone in the Beastlands, and he needs to be able to survive. And he's using the power that Malar has, the mask, the reputation, hence the title, the Mask of Malar, to basically survive by himself. Which is different from that of a cleric, in that the relationship between a cleric and its followers is that it's relatively, there are the devotion that is required from the god is slightly, the power dynamic is slightly off in that the cleric more or less does not particularly, the patron of the cleric doesn't particularly need any one individual cleric, and sees their clergy as a group. So I don't know if that explains what I feel the differences between like a cleric and a warlock.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, that's all well said. I think that a warlock is transactional, right? It's something for something. And if you're a cleric, the whole point of faith is sometimes you get nothing from it. You have to buy in. Sometimes you get something from it. They always have their powers, right? But I expressed my idea. If you're not a patron, go sign up for the Patreon and read the backstory for Maxim, and you will see, what's her name? Is it Emerald? It's Emerald. I think it's the cleric in that party tries to perform a resurrection, and tries to resurrect, so tries for a miracle, tries for divine intervention, and it doesn't work. And everyone's like, why not? You serve your god really well. And she says, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
I can't just do everything right and then say, now you owe me. That's not faith. That's transaction. That's a transaction. That is not being a cleric. That is, you're not bought in. You're just getting something out of it. And so that is, warlock is the opposite. Warlock is quid pro quo. You know, and it cuts both ways. Because it's not transactional, gods can also come out for clerics. That's the other side of the divine intervention, right? Like anything could happen. Gods can come out for clerics when you haven't, quote, earned it. Warlocks, they got to do the work. That's both ways. So.
Oh, I don't have like a horse in this race. It's just we discovered in a couple of recent episodes that Trystine has strong opinions about warlocks. And the funny thing is, like,
go on.
Well, like, obviously with the cleric, it's like, yeah, you take it on faith. They won't always be there to help you. It's like, yes, but also that is the case with warlock patrons. It's just because they're being dicks about it. So the thing is, Trystine is suspicious of anybody that has more power than she does and uses it to get stuff from people. Which is the way she views both warlock patrons and gods with their clerics. Is like, you have power, you make people do a little dance before you deign to divvy it out. That's like a fucked up way to do business. And the fact that, like, with clerics, it's like, yeah, it's faith, and with warlocks, it's like, it's ostensibly transactional, but really you've hitched your wagon to a loan shark, and there's no telling the price you'll end up paying, or whether or not they'll even deliver on it. I just think it's really interesting because there's all kinds of arguments to be had there, and you know it's why some characters make that jump more easily than others, because a lot of it does come down to personality. But yeah.
Well, very cool, very insightful. We are up on time for the stream, so we're going to be wrapping this up. But just a couple of reminders before we say our goodbyes for today. And this is our off week, so while there's no regular episode this week, there was the level up that went up yesterday, and we will return next week on the 15th with episode 6. And I think you guys are really going to like the latter half of the season. It's been really fun recording it so far.
Oh yeah.
You got to answer the question before we go. Is Katya just a cursed hat that's controlling a body?
No. Katya's not just a cursed hat. That hat is a blessing. Thank you very much.
Have we ever seen her without the hat, though?
And you never will.
She's actually concealing a really embarrassing haircut.
Sleeping in a recent. I was gonna say we did see Katya sleeping in a recent episode, and I described it as a very funny visual. It's funnier with the hat.
Yeah,
it's
no,
true.
she does.
Very true.
I do think she sleeps in the hat. Like, I think the hat is partly because it's a magic item that contains all of her personal affects, but also just like I think she likes it and she keeps it on all the time because she can. But don't worry, it's not a cursed hat. It's not controlling her like a ratatouille. You are not ratatouille, Katya.
But perhaps there is something inside the hat for ratatouille and Katya.
Ooh, I don't think so, but we'll find out.
You don't think so?
But no, thank you guys for joining us. We do have a Discord server if you want to keep the conversations going. There's a lot of really cool, fun fan analysis and stuff after each episode comes out, and also just like cool art and conversations happening there all the time. So definitely check that out. And if you'd like to support the podcast, you can, of course, follow us on Patreon, where we have a bunch of cast-created bonus content available to you. Right now, you can check out 5 out of 20 of the planar tarot cards that I have done the art for and done a little write-up on as last month's reward. But in the meantime, thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we'll catch you guys next time out in the Beastlands.
Woo!